Okay, you guys, what is up? This is OJ Senpai here today to review One Piece episode 644 or 43. I think it's 644. So yeah, sorry for making this like kind of late. I had a lot of stuff to do Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Big stuff that I gotta do. So I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna do Hunter x Hunter, which should be fairly short, and then I'm gonna get into the One Piece, the One Piece Bleach and Naruto chapters. So basically, this episode of One Piece was actually it was okay around the rest of that episode. The only part that had me hyped was the Law versus Fujitora and Doflamingo fight. That actually like got me hyped a little bit, and I like that a lot. So let's get on with the basics: pacing, animation, and story progression. The pacing, I'm gonna give that a rating of okay plus. It was okay plus pacing because the pacing picked up in the beginning, but then when it came to the rest, it was like, this is kind of bad. And I don't like. I'm not saying like it wasn't bad pacing. It's bad pacing, but it was actually pretty like it was okay pacing. But it could have been a lot better when it came to the rest of the episode. Story progression, good. Yeah, it was good story progression. You know, we're now getting into the whole Law and the three-way fight between Law, Fujitora, and Doflamingo. Technically 2-on-1. Luffy's fighting in the Coliseum still, and Usopp fucked. But let's get on to that with the review, and then finally the animation. Oh, good, because when it came to the animation at the beginning was really good. When it came to the whole meteor scene, and when it came to the animation, and when it came to the animation of Gear Second, I thought that was well, actually pretty good. Not fantastic, but it was good. Because there's rarely a moment where Gear Second isn't animated right. There's rarely a moment like Gear Second's pretty good. So let's get on with the review. So basically, this episode of One Piece, like I said before, it's pretty much okay. It's not that bad. When it comes to the beginning, let me talk about Fujitora's meteor and another thing that's actually important. When we see Fujitora actually pull the meteor down from the sky using his tractor beam abilities, his gravity abilities, he does it in a really casual manner. Like he doesn't even like flex about it. He's just like, yeah, meteor, and it just falls down. And it's just casual. It's not him exerting any kind of energy. He just casually brings meteors down. And when we see it in the episode, obviously, Law and Doflamingo, they cut up the meteor into pieces. But when we see Fujitora, when one of the parts of the meteor falls down towards him, at the same moment, he uses his tractor abilities to stop the meteor midway, right before it hits him. And when you think about it, despite the fact that Fujitora is technically blind, it doesn't mean that he's not powerful in combat. So, hold on a second. My cell phone is off. But like I was saying before, it doesn't mean that he's really like he really is blind and helpless. Despite the fact that he's blind, he can actually sense what's going on, and that goes on with the whole idea that blind people, despite the fact that they might not be able to see, they still have like their the rest of their senses are like enhanced to their peak or something like that. Like we see like his like smell, taste, touch, stuff like that. So and of course Fujitora probably also has Kenbon Shokuhaki because he can sense like everything that's going on around him, despite the fact that he can't really see. So Fujitora is a really big threat, and this is even further implied when Doflamingo basically states to Fujitora, "Oh, you're Fujitora. You're the guy that was recruited during the World Military Draft, and in terms of power, you're on par with Rio Kyugyu, aka Green Bull." And you have to wonder two things. Number one, who the hell is Real Kyugyu? Obviously, Real Kyugyu is probably an admiral because if Real Kyugyu is working for the Marines, whether or not it's a he or a she, we don't know for sure yet. Then it's probably going to be someone who is an admiral, and that might be this third admiral fill spot. So right now we have three admirals. We have Fujitora, Kizaru, and Real Kyugyu. And another thing I definitely gonna mention is the World Military Draft. Now I remember that after Aokiji and Garp left the Marines, well technically Garp didn't leave, he resigned from being Vice Admiral and he became a General Inspector, according to One Piece Film Z and according to Oda. So he didn't technically resign, he just stopped being an actual active Marine, just a not General Inspector. He's a trainer now, I believe, but I'm not too sure. But basically, once they left, Afterwards, they had to do a world military draft apparently, and they recruited Fujitora and Rio Kyugu straight off the press. And according to Doflamingo, it's possible that Akainu, though now currently Fleet Admiral, trained Fujitora and possibly even Rio Kyugu. Because of what Doflamingo said. He said, "Oh, how did Akainu train you guys? You guys are wild." So that's some crazy shit. And mind you, if he trained both Ryukyugu and Fujitora, then how strong is Akainu? He must be above them in power. So, I mean, not that far away, but he must be above them in power, obviously. So that's something interesting that we got from this episode, and of course the whole media thing. We see now apparently that Law, Fujitora, and Doflamingo are fighting against each other, and they have like platforms that hold them up, and there's like three platforms, and the platforms themselves are the only things that did not get destroyed within the whole meteor falling. The platforms that they're standing on, they're still okay. So that's that. Now, when it comes to what happens with Law, now that Law stated that he is currently allied with the Straw Hat Pirates, it's automatically confirmed that he lost his Shishibukai status, that he's no longer a warlord, and that he's now a normal pirate. And that's a problem because now Law has to face against Fujitora and Doflamingo. It was bad enough that Doflamingo, he'd have to help, that Law would have to help his strength against Doflamingo, and that's not even a guaranteed win. But now he has to face off against two admiral level characters. Well, one admiral level, one near admiral level. So I mean, that's still pretty bad. So will Law be able to escape? We don't really know for sure yet. Now, when it comes to the other parts of this episode, is basically just Luffy dodging the bull with a gear second, which I'll get into in a second, and then it's I believe Sanji. I think so. I mean, I haven't seen the episode since then, but yeah, Sanji. So Sanji, Kinemon, and Violet. Now let me start off with Kinemon and Sanji. It's basically just Sanji telling Violet, "Yo, can you please come back and wait for me at the port? We'll rendezvous at that point, and you can just leave with us." Obviously, I mean, despite the fact that Sanji's doing that, it's technically Luffy who has the power because he is the captain of the ship, and so he tells like what he says goes. And so even though Sanji says this, I mean, it's not guaranteed that Luffy will say yes. Though technically Luffy is always hunting down for new crewmates as it is. So maybe this might be like a good thing. I doubt she'll join the crew, but I mean, who knows? I mean, who knows? But and when it comes to the whole, and then she basically just says, Sanji, you're just a big good for nothing, and you truly are a nice man. And then she just runs away afterwards. Like Sanji's like, wait, hold up for me. So I mean, it's Sanji just falling in love as usual. And I would like to see, like, I don't know if near the end of the series or close, that Sanji does end up like at the end of the story finding a female girlfriend slash wife. I actually would like that a lot. Sanji, despite the fact that he's a huge pervert, he really is a gentleman in the broadest sense of the term. So I do feel like as if Sanji does kind of deserve that. But again, that might get like the end of the story if it does happen. And of course, we see Kinemon. Kinemon needs help to find Kanjuro at the toy house, but he doesn't have the map. And thankfully, Sanji has the map as well. Well, Sanji has the map, so they can go find Kanjuro that way. And of course, Sanji beats up all the father that Doflamingo said. Now, when it comes to Luffy Luffy and the Bull, like I said before, it was very well animated. But my problem is that it just wasn't like that. The hype was not needed because it's a bull. Mind you, it killed a lot of death row prisoners. But at the same time, does Luffy really need Gear Second to take on a bull? It's in the new world, okay, fine. But it's a bull. It's a fucking bull. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it was well animated, but I didn't really see the point of it. And of course, the Haoshoku no Haki that had to happen because usually Luffy, if he doesn't want to if he doesn't want to like hurt um an animal or something like that, he usually want to keep it as a pet. And the way to tame it is by using Haoshoku no Haki, which is what Luffy has. So obviously, it's just a lot of hype around Monkey D. Luffy as usual. Another thing that I forgot to point out is that Sanji figures out that Luffy is in a tournament fighting, and of course we see Frankie. And Frankie right now is heading to the flower field, just as planned, and apparently so is Sanji. So there's gonna be like this huge meetup at the flower field. Apparently, we don't know like what exactly is going to happen down there, what's going to go down, but obviously it's gonna be a huge meetup. So that's basically the episode in full. This episode, I'm gonna give it a rating of OK plus. It was an OK plus episode. It really didn't do that much, and it was a setup episode mainly, so I'm not gonna hit on it. But yeah, OK plus. So like the video if you like it, dislike it if you don't. Rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. I'm on Giuseppe, and I'm out. Peace, guys.